Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Wastelands 2 with me, Cornish-Knight. So we're heading to LA, which is always very, very nice. Right, we need to drop some stuff because my character is overloaded. Right. Probably just the sheer amount of ammunition we have. That probably doesn't help. Lilicorn. Need to get rid of some of her ammo. Right. I don't need the tracks. This is basically just going to be not a filler episode per se, but I'm literally going to be taking care of business, and I'm going to be finishing off a whole load of side missions. Well, not side missions per se, but I'm going to be finishing off some outstanding stuff. Gonna drop some of these. I don't need as many as I have. That would have got embarrassing. Drop that. Lilicorn. Okay, she's good. Need to drop that off. Right, is there anything I can break down? Because I have a whole load of stuff floating around in my backup bag. RPGs. Give that to him. That's a priceless relic, so we can't do anything with it. I should probably give him some of those. Have all this stuff. Get all this armor as well. Steel plate. No one's really strong enough to use it. Well, he is. You see what armors he's running around in. He's running around in combat armor. Strength. Basically, we need we need strength 4 to be able to wield it. She can't have it. He can. She can. So what's that? That's armor 4. Let's, to be honest, I don't even see why we're carrying it. We should just sell this stuff, really. Don't think we need the pod fragments either. Right, got a whole load of stuff. Sell to him. Right. What do I want to sell? Right. Buy Devo encumbered wire. Okay, we've got strip that for parts. Small scope. Tactical vest he doesn't need, so we can sell that. To be honest, we don't actually need as many of these things as I thought we did. So we could probably sell a couple of them. Okay. Don't really need it. Get rid of the kiss out, keep the badge. You never know when you actually need those things, which is always a pain. Right. Don't know what earth we're going to use that for. Right. Makings. If only had someone who had makings. Oh no! Oh, we got the scope for it, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. So we stripped all that down. Pretty much talked to everyone. Staff Sergeant. Right, what I'll do is I'll pause the video here so you don't see me, in case I'll bring the video back up if we get into combat on the way to the objective, but I'll show you where you can hand in that necklace. I've also apparently messed up the commander downfall for the Red Scorpion Militia, because I didn't click every single... Basically there's an option that says you're basically on the list scum, raiders kind of thing, and I thought I better not press that because that will probably put us in a combat scenario, and it isn't. It's the dialogue option you need to press to get him to come and help you, so I've pretty much screwed that up. But this is one of the things I have with this game. It's some of their logical choices are a bit dumb. I don't really like the fact that you oh yeah, you need to call a bandit like a scum to his face, because that's going to go end well with you. But well, we'll press on and go back towards... There's a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and tell the Diamondback Militia that they haven't got their nuke. I'm going to go and hand in the necklace to the dead person, and I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else left really outstanding. But you will see all you guys in a second. Goodbye. Be right back. Well, I did say, folks, that I would show off. I have been avoiding these combats in the game so far just because we want to go on with the story. But I thought I'd basically do some of them now. Let's have a bit of a fight, since we're not really being pressed for time at the moment. It's just nice occasionally just to have a nice episode where we can just do things. Right. What are we facing? Infected insects. Killer bunnies. It's nothing particularly worrisome. Probably want to go this way. Right. Right. Get up into a good defensible position. Ambush. Can you see anybody? Nope. Okay, ambush it is. No, one gets wiped. One gets wiped by lightning. That's cool. It's a nice change. I don't have to worry about my own people getting bopped on the head. Gets everybody set up. Ah, I hate when they do this. This is why I do not like AIs, because they do really daft stuff. Yeah, just keep ambushing it. The fly's got to probably... Executed. Excellent. There we go. So if you actually, yeah, if we do fight, then we all get a lot more experience. That robot's gonna be a pain. Yeah, this is the reason I really dislike AIs in this game. It's that they have a suicidal tendency. I don't like when AIs do that. They just tend to charge off. Right, we need to get it back on track. As always, I will pause the video here and you can, well, we'll skip forward to a slightly more advantageous moment. And we're back, folks. Now, we just need to find the bloke in question. You need to go into this room here for the necklace. I didn't realise it at the time, but this is the bloke we have to give it to, so add to hotkey. Give him the necklace. As you place the locket around his neck, the bullet-ridden, pain-splattered corpse somehow looks more at peace. Yeah, this is the bloke we need to give it to. Once that's done, we can head back to the Temple of Titan and deal with all the shenanigans going on there. This is the thing, I like this game a lot. There are some choices with the game. Since we're in a bit more of downtime, I will talk about this game in a bit more, like, from a gameplay standpoint. There are some things about it I would change. Some of the more obtuse things, for example, like having shotguns, having like either a different type of shotgun that made it more useful like late game, or having the system work in such a way that shotguns didn't become pointless. That would be very nice. What else? Some of like the rather like baffling stuff, like just I've said this before in this game, that one of the things that this game seems to heavily rely upon is the player having played the game before to know what to do. It's a number of the stuff that you won't be able to get it done first time round unless you do multiple playthroughs, which in itself is not a problem, but when you build a whole mechanic around that, take for example saving Ralph. Now, we got lucky and I had a sort of clue what we were supposed to do just because of using lots of grenades previously in an episode, so I figured out that was probably the best way to do it. I could have actually, if I got it wrong, killed him quite easily, so it's one of these things that the game has lots of elements to it that if you haven't like had multiple attempts playing through, you won't get them right. It's the whole thing, oh, if you want the best ending you need to play through the game several times, which is not something I'm a massive fan of. It's like the fact that you can get a really fantastic outcome from the Rail Nomads camp if you write in both. There's a section where they basically like what word would bring us together, and basically you can type in both in capitals, and that will have it. They've also done it with some of the speech checks. That's the other thing that I found slightly frustrating, which is that especially like a lot of this, like the later half of the later half of the first act of the game, as it were, is that the speech, a lot of the speech stuff that I picked up, for example, I specialised Cornish in having hard ass, and hard ass hardly ever came up in the second half of the first act. Most of it was sweet talking or kiss. Was either well, not sweet talking. What was it? It was either kiss ass or smart ass. Now, if I'd been really clever, what I would have done was, if I'd known in advance, I would have gone, instead of going directly to the railway nomads, I would have gone directly to the mutants, done everything I needed to do. I also didn't know at the time that you could blow doors and stuff open with explosives, which is something... This is the thing that I really do think the game should have had. I think it should have just put you through basic training, range of basic training. It's like, yes, you can use explosives to blow open doors and blow open crates, and stuff like that. Because if I'd known that I could have blown open the back gate with a piece of dynamite, I would have been able to complete the super mutant village without losing them as a faction later on in the game. But I don't know. There are just some bits of the game that are a bit obtuse, like a manual. It's a PDF though, and you have to find the game files, and as I've been told, it's not fantastic. It covers a lot of stuff from the first game, like a lot of the mechanics from the first game, which I don't see as being super useful. I'm just going to run up here to see if there's anything tucked away that I've missed. But yeah, I would change some of the combat stuff, make it so if you have a support AI, you control the support AI rather than it being independent, because the AI just runs off. Right, that's as far as we can go. Okay. I don't know. It's just that some of the stuff is quite obtuse. I don't like the fact that shotguns were made to become an irrelevant weapon choice in this game after a certain level. I don't like how the fact that you need to play this, you really need to have played this game through before to know how to micromanage and get the best outcome. I don't like how if you want people to support you, you have to basically give really dangerous people nuclear weapons and stuff like that. Right, let's get to the Temple of Titan. They're probably going to hate us for disarming the bomb. But hey ho. Right, let's just drop this stuff off with them. They're all going to be absolutely angry, aren't they? Because they're all...
The soldiers are in charge. Is that what you wanted?
Alright, we'll go and sell our stuff before talking to the lunatic. You want scrap as tribute, but the monks always took medical supplies. You don't want your damn band-aids full. Things have changed around here. You want to travel through the canyon you were told is cold hard scrap. Now pay up or go back to where you came from. Well, I guess I'll pay then, but I like it better when the monks were in charge. Might have been crazy, but at least they were fair. Just sit up and get going. There's people behind you. Try enough unless you have a pass to told us 150 scrap. So here's the scrap. What's this? Oh, he's going to be over here. I didn't need to pay that stupid toll. Let's pay them. Trade. Might get some combat armor, to be honest. Actually, all my guys are pretty much suited out in that, aren't they? Is there anything here that I want to pick up? Anything like grenades? Not really, to be honest. I got everything that I wanted a long time ago. So, junk. Rightio. Goodbye. Yeah, let's just keep going. They've closed that off. So yeah, they've pretty much taken over here then. Slade. I can't talk to him. Just having a quick look around to see if there's anything interesting that might have popped up in my absence. No, it's just all they've always been taken over. This whole place has become their territory, right? How cheerful. But I suppose in some ways it's better than having the monks, because the monks were basically one fruit bat sort of a... yeah, it's just basically one fruit sort of a bat, I suppose
Well,
you could say.
at least the trains run on time.
Right. Okay, he's not going to report to me. Right. Ah, that's Sadler.
Fuck off, you traitors!
Dude, I wasn't gonna give you a nuclear weapon. No offense. As you can hear in the background, folks. Right, so we're going to run back to town, back to base, and that's probably where we're going to end it for this episode. I know it's not a particularly like engaging episode, but it was just me taking care of stuff. But yeah, what would I do differently? Probably make shotguns more useful, starting thing. As I say, a lot of the issues I have with this game would have been fixed if they'd just added a tutorial section at the beginning of the game, like a training mission. Yeah, let's fight him. I think it would have helped a lot. A lot of the mistakes I made was because I didn't understand mechanics of the game, because I didn't know that they like existed per se. We're back in this one. I hate fighting in this place. Kill all the humans. Right, okay. Waste him. I'm just basically burning up my old ammunition, to be honest. Just burning through some stuff and getting some more XP. Rightio. Melted him into goop. But no, I do argue that so many of the problems I had in this game would have been just solved if they'd had an actual basic tutorial, which is something I think I know they're doing a new game coming out soon. I hope that, not soon, but in the near future, I hope that's something that they actually do, is they put a tutorial section in, just so people actually know all the basic mechanics that you can do. It wouldn't even have to be that complicated. It could be like literally you had a firing range, you had stuff like explaining the basic of AP management. It'd be really useful if you just had a section explaining what the base characteristics were. I mean, for example, when I first played the game, I didn't really understand how like stuff like coordination, awareness, and strength and speed and stuff, because like a number of these skills go together to give you your AP score, and I had to have it explained to me by a couple of my viewers, which I'm really grateful for. But I didn't explain how this particular combination worked to get you your AP, and how you sort of had to go around doing, how you should have sort of set your stuff up, what skills you should have picked up at what levels. There was a lot of like, this game requires you, Damon's animals, keep running from that. This game relies upon a lot of like metagaming in a way for you to be like productive, and the problem is that if you don't know how systems work, you don't know how to use them to the best of your ability, dangerous raiders will fight them. So I do think they should have like a beginner section, like a tutorial section, where you just got given some basic pre-made characters, and they ran you through boot camp. Like they explained how different skills worked, and they explained various bits and pieces, rather than you having to do it via trial and error, which is not something I'm a massive fan of. Right, so they're going to be, we're in here, are we? Right, okay. Right, up here then. Dang, didn't get my gun off quickly enough. He's going to go first and give me a whack, which is going to suck. No, it's only 5 damage. Really, dude? Just kill him without issue. Ambush if they charge. .77 damage and blew his body right off. See, this is the thing that I have issue with, is that the shotguns, like at this stage of the game, are really good, and as soon as you get to like the second half of the first act, they become literally pointless. You do like hardly any damage unless the enemy is. One thing I will say is that shotguns are useful if the enemies are wounded. You can, for all intents and purposes, use them as like scrub clearers, which is that you can hurt an enemy, you can hurt a particular enemy quite badly, and then you can move on to someone else. And basically, what the shotgun user will do is then kill them, and if he's got the right perks, you'll get Executioner, which gives you a massive damage bonus, and then you'll literally just wipe them out that way. But besides that, because this is what someone basically explained to me, was that shotguns have quite low AP. I think the most you get with them, the one I'm running around with, is AP 3, which is pretty bad when you consider that you need to basically beat the enemy's armor rating to actually do. I think their AP, their armor rate, the AR under their armor rating, you do. If you meet their AR, you do half damage. If you beat it, if you beat it by a couple of points, you do. I'm just trying to remember what it is, because this is stuff that's not covered in the game. Like, for example, armor rating. I think you have to if you want to do more damage, you have to beat it. If I remember correctly, yeah, you had to beat it by a certain amount to do extra damage. If you want to just do normal damage, you have to equal it or be slightly above it, and you get half damage if you're below it. It's a system that they don't really explain, which is really frustrating. And it would have been nice for them to actually have done so. I think my issue would have been is as I have said, one, it would have been nice if they'd made the socks more useful throughout the game. Two, they needed to have put some kind of training, like a training segment, like a boot camp training segment. Like, they've got the stuff up here, you could have just done it up here and have put it in, had like a basic training intro to the game. Either that, or they had needed to actually have put a manual. Like, if it had been like a digital manual, which they actually had, it would have been nice to have it on the main menu so you could like flick to it, or you could have had it here, had the manual in here, so you could have opened it up and read about it, rather than. Because I don't think it's in here. No, it's not. Rather than having to find some buried PDF file in the documents. Which is always frustrating. Right, we've done all that. Switch our weapon back over just to save on ammo. It definitely, to be honest, to me, one of the things I do find annoying about this game is that okay, I'm not a massive fan of metagaming. I'm a person that has never enjoyed metagaming and never will. So I dislike it when, for example, one of the things I was basically told is that, oh, you should you should not use shotguns, you should have had them like using assault rifles, because that flies in the face of what they basically advised me in the games, like, oh, don't have multiple party members using the same weapon type because it will divide your ammo up and make it hard to get ammo, which, to be honest, is actually rather incorrect. I've got 2 people running around with sniper rifles in my party and they have plenty of ammunition. I could have easily tailored one of my party to have an assault rifle that used 1 caliber of ammunition and had someone else using a different caliber of ammunition, and we would have been fine. But unfortunately that didn't how it worked out, because I followed the advice of the game. There's just loads of things that need to be fixed, really, which is annoying. Besides having like a training intro, like a tutorial, or having like a manual on actually in the game that you could read, I think they need to make the weapons more balanced. Either up the AP, up the armor penetration of, say, the assault guns or the submachine guns to make them a bit more useful late game, or just drop the enemies general AR armor rating throughout the game, so the lower AR weapons are actually more useful. But there's just a whole host of things that they sort of really do need to do. It's a really good game, but it does need to have some fixes. And that's where we're going to end it for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. We shall be heading over to California next episode. I've been Cornish-Knight, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.